Welcome back, everybody. 8 o'clock on the 17th of May. It's a Saturday. I'm so glad you could make it. Hello, Kirk. Hello, Full Dive. Hello, Control Alt Art. We're all here, and we're still doing scalable vector graphics. Isn't that fun? I think it is. We're doing all kinds of interesting things with these things that people have forgotten. So, how are you all doing? If you're watching live or if you're watching later, don't forget there's a Discord join link in the description. And let's just take a quick look at what we've posted here. So as you can see, we've got the results of this thing that we've been doing. Okay, take a look at that in just a second if you weren't here yesterday. And here's an example of SVG ArtGrid V2, which does a couple of things which I speculated might be possible yesterday. So, before we jump into SVG Art Grid V2, let's have a quick roundup. So glad you could all make it. My stats are broken. I'm sure they're just lagging. There we go. Hello, everyone. So anyway, hope you're all having a good weekend. We're having some excellent weather. It's been, I must admit, it's been kind of hard, but I've been working on DJZ tools. So all you'll remember, DJZ tools. Okay. Ooh. DJZ, no, not DJ tools. DJZ tools, which the project is private right now. Okay, that was actually the website. So the website is up. I'm actually meant to show you this one. So here it is live, right? So we built this as a CLI simulator. So this is a whole bunch of my scripts that I've written to help with AI productivity and training models and all kinds of different things. For example, here's the SVG art grid that I've been talking about. So it doesn't actually run the software. What it does is it gives you a link to where you can get the whole project. If you're a developer, you can just snag the script direct, and then it shows you like, oh yeah, this is how it's used, right? That's the idea. The idea is to make a CLI simulator, okay? And like I said, it's got a dark mode, flashbang, and we've got all these different scripts which are up on my GitHub. So it's like it turns into like a little sort of like mini site, an info site, if you will. Because you know, there's all kind of like a Hugging Face downloader with like batch support, so you can like make a file with a bunch of links and just download them. So really cool stuff here. But anyway, I wanted to make it actually do it. So what I've been working on last couple of days, I mean it's almost finished to be honest, I just haven't built it yet. And I got a bit of a strange trick for building when things don't want to build. It's funny, sometimes things don't want to build but they work. And it falls over on things like things that don't matter. And when I probed, I found out that you can just make a batch script that just copies all the files you need into a folder, and then you have a portable exe. So you don't need to do the installer, which is breaking all the time. So I was just like, huh. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to do that. Danger. But hey, whatever. Like, you know, if you're doing it for your own personal use, and you want a... anyway, we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, if I go to Mushroom Fleet SVG Grid, so Mushroom Fleet, we've got Icon Factory, which I want to show you. The Electron, DJZ Electron tool, I've been updating that all day. And soon there'll be a tool which is just like this. It won't look as good, unfortunately. Electron can't. I'm not good. Let's be real. I'm not good enough to make Electron styled the same as this. But it will have the same, you know, idea. You go into a card layout, you go in, you click on, but the difference is it will actually do it though. It's an exe that will actually do the thing. It's not like how to, you know, it's not like a wiki, a fancy wiki, right? It'll actually do it. This was more about the framework, because if you notice here, there's actually a builder, which makes this a legitimate content management system. Even though it's only for info, it's complete, and I'm thinking about white labeling it and turning it into like a little thing you can use with like an MCP to just create mini sites fast. Anyway, there's probably about 8 billion of them by now. People are catching up. But yeah, like I said, the next one I want to show you is Icon. So I think it's just Icon. Right, there's no dark mode, guys. Basically, when I was making the TV tracker app, did I make a web version of the TV tracker app? Why didn't I do that? I should have made a web version of it. Well, there's another thing to add to the list. I just finished the freaking Electron build. It's really nice as well. In fact, should I show you the Electron build? Do we have it here? It might be on my computer. That's okay. I can download it and pretend like I've never seen it. Oh, what's this? I've never seen this in my life. Oh, I don't fancy building things. I don't know what to do. I'll just get the portable version in 7Z. and we'll download it and pretend like I don't know what it is. But not in a cheesy way. I've done with that bit. Come on. Ah, thanks, Control Alt. Icon Factory's fun, but I want to tell you the story about how it was actually made, because it's actually interesting. Check it out. If I go into the TV show Tracker Electron, it needs an icon to build. Okay, so Claude knew that it needs an icon to build, right? And so he built this, right? And I was like, how the hell? So he just made that. He made that. Claude made that on his own, right? He's like, so I was like, how did you make that, you cheeky bugger? Look, because think about the flex. He's just created an SVG with multiple layers and text, just like, what? And so I was like, how the heck did you do that? And he said, oh, I used this HTML file. I was like, what? So I had a look inside of it, and it's an HTML file that only makes one icon. That's all it does. It just makes that one. Look, this page creates a simple icon. Click the download button. So do you know what he did? He wrote an HTML file, opened it with the browser use, clicked save, and then copied the file into the assets for the icon for the app. So he was able to, do you see what I mean? This is the type of emergent behavior I've been trying to highlight, because you'd think, oh, you got to generate an image. No, he was just like, I'll just do this SVG stuff, right? And I realized it's kind of the same. Do you know what I mean? It's in our wheelhouse. We're doing SVG stuff. So I was like, well, that's interesting. And so I overdeveloped this web page. Can we improve it? Can we improve it? Can we improve it? That's how we did it. That's how, and I just noticed, I was like, what? So then I've developed a random, so it created this without me asking to solve a problem that I didn't even know exists, right? And then upon investigation, I was like, hang on, this is human in loop. I've come in and then we're going to make this better. So that's how you get Icon Factory. You go from making just one type of icon to lots of types of icon. And as a matter of fact, this is out of date. This isn't even the latest version, because the latest version doesn't have broken presets. Because what happened was I made a load of presets and it made a bunch of cool settings, right? And then, yeah, some of them are broken now, but that's because I added something better, which you don't need. We don't need presets. We do custom, right? And then we go down to the bottom and look at this, SVG guidelines. Your SVG should use the following structure. You download the template and then we open Illustrator. This is so crazy when you actually think about it. Hang on. Essentially, we get the template, make whatever shapes we want in the right layers. You see what I mean? So we follow this. This is probably the part where it breaks. Come on. Oh no. We're not broken. There we go. Look at that. So, right, okay, see? No bullshit. I'd never tested it yet, though. So now we've got our layers, and they're all named properly. Let's have a look. Yes, look at this. Icon Factory, baby. So Icon Factory is actually way more powerful than you think it is, because we can do whatever we want to these shapes. Save it, and then go. I'm not going to do all that. We could make changes to the setup here. Save the thing, obviously with a name. Come back here and then choose SVG file, and then we can use all of this stuff to change the colors and the width. You know, let me just go back to this one. So look, you can change the width, you can change the height, position. Maybe you don't want the square corners and round corners. Where is it? Why would it move? There you go, square, round, you know. So anyway, like I said, this was fun, but I just really wanted to see like how far it could go. Feel free to fork it and use it for however you want. But yeah, as you can see, you've got the SVG template instructions right there. Make your thing, upload it, do the thing, blah, blah, blah. Right. So anyway, this is just a bit of fun. I was like, huh. And then it got me thinking, do you guys remember old Call of Duty games, like online games, where you would be allowed to make a clan tag or like an emblem, out of a bunch of vector shapes that you would like unlock through gameplay, and you could like duplicate them, you could rotate them, there was layers, and people used to make the craziest looking things with them, right? And I thought, well, that's essentially what we've got here, isn't it? Just like less, you know, just not the right controls for that. And so I decided to redevelop this entire idea into Emblem, which is just a web page at the moment. And so Emblem, it just comes with some basic geometric shapes. The lightning is scuffed, guys, I'm sorry. Alright, I don't know what happened. Well, let's give us a bit more. Now once you've created it, you can move it around, you can scale it, you can rotate it, and you see this thing, look at what it's given me. It's given me scale, wait a minute. Oh no, it's off the canvas edge, so I can't touch it. Haha, bugs. So, yeah, it gives you scale, well, it should be just rotate, but it actually gives scale at the same time. It's the most bizarre thing. But yeah, you can see how, with opacity, color change, and so on, right? And the idea is, you know, you like put things in places and then like change the colors, right? You can delete layers. What else? Change the color. Obviously, change the rotation. And it kind of looks like, well, what the hell is all of this like? So what? But I don't know if we can get this into comfy, right? But there's a lot of things which allow you to do masks by color. There's also segmentation by color. There's also RemBG on these shapes, right? Because obviously you could bake this to a PNG, okay? And I've seen it where you can assign like a different trigger to a different element and then have them in the screen. Cree is a good example of that. And so I thought, see, I don't know if I can get this interface into comfy in a node, so it'd be an interesting challenge. Obviously you wouldn't need an aspect size because that would be set by the input. Or it could be like a creation node which just has outputs, and then you would need a canvas size or height and width dimensions in comfy speak. But yeah, I think there's a couple of different ways. I mean, I'm not bothered about the scale that, you know, I'm not bothered about, or, you know, because these are just values that can be changed, you know what I mean? But I think it's interesting, especially when we start talking about what we're going to look at tonight, which is kind of, I hate to say high level, but it's easy to understand, really. I'm just going to dive in quickly and just show you what we got going on here. So we got this art grid. It generates an SVG grid of geometric shapes. It's got a bunch of different modes. You can look it all up on the SVG art grid. He says, as he's like not in the right place again. I ain't in the right place, there it is. So yeah, I've just updated it as well, so now it uses a VNV installation. Okay, it creates these lovely art grids like this. They're vector, so they're super clean, and we've been using them for a whole bunch of different creative sort of workflows. But yeah, like I said, it's actually got a nice virtual environment set up now. Before it was just kind of like install two things and let it rip. The version 2, which is the update that's currently up, allows for a new image to image mode, which I can quickly show you here. So as you can see, there's two modes, palette mode. This isn't in nodes yet, by the way. I literally finished the script just now. If you can see composition, palette mode, all it does is sample the color. Okay, so it doesn't follow it like this. It just samples the color and does the normal generation, yeah? Composition mode will try to follow the original image. It's been squished here because I got the rows wrong. So this is obviously widescreen, so it's been squished in, yeah? But you can see it is following the original, right? And over on the Discord, Control-Alt-Art has been showing this cool method from going from an ASCII, like an ASCII video animation, and from that into the blended image which was used to make it, and so it ends up looking, it looks really cool. Let me show you the effect, I'm sure he won't mind. Hello to you in the chat as well, of course. He's here in the chat with us today, so check out that one there. A bit small, but it's lovely. It's a lovely effect. I'm going to blow this one up. Look at this. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. I like a little bit of extra process, you know, because he made the image and then he did something else and then he put that in front of that and da-da-da-da-da. And you've got a little bit of an Ouroboros. An Ouroboros. You've got a nice little setup going there, a nice feedback loop. Obviously, I don't mean to take away from everybody else. I love you guys too. But it's like exactly what we're doing. So if you start doing exactly what we're doing, I'll be showing your stuff off more too. But yeah, it's all the same options that we had before with a few extras. So let me just draw attention to those. First is image file. V2 requires an image input, okay? Because the row calls are done on their own, it's going to scale it when it does the sampling. For palette mode, it literally just makes a 5-color, it's just a single 5-color palette gets made from the image that you present to the script, and then it uses that in place of whatever JSON would have been normally used. Because obviously the V1 you can generate your own colors and all sorts. In case you didn't know about that and you do use ArtGrid, don't forget that we have a palette tool for generating palettes for the ArtGrid generator, and you can just save these in JSON, host them anywhere and put the link in the node. It works. So that is scuffdepop.com/colors. I'm going to have a new page on the site soon linking to all this stuff that we're doing. But it's just to let you know, a lot of my nodes are extendable, so they contain presets, JSON files, custom Python scripts, whatever, externalized. So if you see a drop-down menu, it's not always hard-coded. Sometimes that's something you could actually customize and turn it to your own devices. I'm having a few weird issues with the face swap job. There's a face swap job going on over here. These are some of the results from the ArtGrid, by the way. Don't be afraid of abstract grids of shapes, because you still get good images out of it. I'm doing a lot of concept artwork for the story Sharona. This is the character. Okay. So this is partly what we're doing. We're just making sure that her face is consistent. It's pretty good, but it's a little bit off. And so we obviously have a face swapping model to make it consistent. Don't worry about the junk. It's all part of the story. Maybe. Okay, let me see. I'll make it part of the story in book 2. Retcon time. Okay. So yeah, face swapping. I feel like I was in the middle of explaining something completely different. There's ArtGrid V2. SVG, sweet. Ah yeah, here we are. Composition mode, however, will obviously follow the image. It's not like a control net. What it's actually doing is it's taking your image that you've put in, dividing it into the same grid that the rows and columns are set to, and then sampling that individual piece of the image rather than the whole thing. So actually what it's doing is it's making a 5-color palette for every square taken from whatever images you gave it. That's how it's doing it, okay? And so obviously more squares makes it more, it's like a mosaic effect. That's what I've done. I've made a mosaic effect and called it composition using palettes. Palette detection only, color detection. But this is an interesting one, because one of the big things that this system was not able to do, it was not able to do like scenery. Do you know what I mean? It was very rare to get a skyline, because you have the same colors in a grid that generated it. I mean, you can really see it there. Look at that. So you can see the grid. Do you know what I mean? You can still see the grid there. Some colors are so bright that it's just, it actually tests the Laura's ability to even continue making the character. And there is a trick to this, okay? It's not like the character was emergent, but it was nowhere near as well formed as this. And there is actually a dirty trick, which I've done to make it work. So this is the image that actually goes into the model. Obviously with your LoRa loaded and everything else. But there's a trick, like I said. We pass this in on image to image. Okay. We use model sampling flux of 1.5 and 1.5. And then if we look at this nonsense over here, all it really is my control prompt system, which is supplying the image, the mask, the pose, and the prompt. So all of that comes out of just this node here. Image, mask, pose, prompt from the data set. And then the SVG art grid is making in 16:9 at 2048 with circles like this. Okay. I feel like there should be more circles. I think I might have messed that up, but yeah. This looks like all. This is all not circles. I don't know why. I must have not written it right. Anyway, the point is we have our art grid, okay? And then everything goes through image size adjuster. Well, this one goes through image size adjuster to make it a SDXL aspect ratio. And then we're going to use the output width and height to drive 1, 2, 3, 4 image resize nodes for like everything, you know. So the image will get resized, the mask will get resized, the pose will get resized, and then this obviously will get resized first. Yeah, do you see? So everything gets resized, right? And then we use a layer utility image blend, and we are bringing in the original image with the mask, not inverted, over the new SVG art grid background. Okay, and we're not done yet. There's more tricks. And then we pass the pose into Shaka Labs Apply Control Net, Shaka Labs Union, I think it is. Union Pro. Look at the length on that one. Okay, and like I said, it doesn't work every time. But you do get a good hit ratio. The reason that didn't work, by the way, let's have a look at that open pose model. Ooh, so the open pose model was the problem, really. You see? So when you get if you have clean skellies, you won't have a problem. Okay? But yeah, like I said, we made like 850 of these. So playing the law of averages with a 30%, probably less, probably 25% rejection rate due to bad, you know, and you can improve that by curating your data set, because you can't just remove one. It'd be easier just to remake this, like try and remake this again, because with a control prompt set, they're all matched, so you can't just delete one. You'd have to delete that one from all of them. And if I was going to do something like that, I'd probably go to the original data set that this was made from, because we generate this set from a data set. So I would just actually do my job and curate the original set. And then if there are problems with the poses or whatever, you know, that's your job to kind of go, okay, maybe I'll just try and regenerate that pose and put it back. That's a curator's job, right? And then you just remake the control set, basically, because it's a script that puts it into this format that can be read in folders. I've done loads of stuff on that. It's one of my custom things. But it essentially means you can do randomization with sequential, and then there's a whitelist. There's a V1 version that's the same that has a blacklist. So depending on whether you want to use whitelist terms from in your prompt or blacklist terms, it's like up to you which one you want to use. But it gives you more option over what's going to get randomly selected. If you leave it blank, it'll just go through everything forever. So you never have a problem with it running out of images, or, you know, it's just going to loop through forever. Right, and then like I said, from there obviously we had to get the best of those images, and the faces are okay, they're all right, but they could be better. So what I do is I hit them with, let's see, where's the original face here? What the? It just changed it to a face that's not that bad. Damn it. Okay, well anyway, so we've got another face coming in. It's actually not a bad face, but the character isn't really Asian. She's vaguely Asian. So anyway, we changed the face and now she's like less Asian. As you can see in her source images. This is the source model that we made the face with. So she's like, there's a little bit of Asian in there, but for the most part, not Asian, right? She's in Upper Mongolia. God knows what her deal is. So anyway, yeah, we do the face swap. If you've never seen my reactor face swap, it's a simple affair. We do face boost with a little bit of low, like a weak face boost with our reactor model. Then we do weak reactor face swap. We do masking helper just in case she's got her hair in front of one eye. Yeah, and then that will give us a nice consistent character no matter what. It does make some mistakes. Sometimes it can't recognize the face. One of the reasons I'm not doing hard anime is because it has a lot of trouble with anime. So we are doing sort of Western illustration style with a, it's like a 2.5D type photograph, you know. It's not a photograph. Do you know what I mean? But it's not painted either. So that would be the original. That came out of Midjourney, can you tell? Can you tell that it came out of Midjourney 7? Can you tell? I can. Anyway, oh, that one's been upscaled by me. You can tell by the vertical lines. Is that the final? It's not bad. It does look like our character now. That's the main goal here. God knows what else is going to happen to the images by the time it goes to print. Right, so, like I say, face swapping, right? So there's obviously upscaling going on all the time. So we have an upscaler right here, and there wasn't one in the previous. It's the same upscaler. So there's a lot of crushing and upscaling going on. But the way I see it is, I'm going to be cooking the crap out of these with lookup tables, artificial film grain, and like, you know, bloom and halation effects. There's going to be all kinds of stuff, and that's just the fancy stuff. Like the stuff that goes to print has to be flat. So, well, it depends what medium it's going to be printed in, but I think you know what I mean. It's not going to be like printed on like gloss photo paper. Hey, Fernicar, welcome to the stream. So glad you could join. The brick look. Yeah, the brick looks awesome. Well, like I said, if you just turn the denoise down, it's going to do that. Look at all the bricks. Look at it. Love it. What's happened to her trousers? Those trousers are insane. I think we're processing the wrong folder here. I haven't looked at all the outputs. There was 850 outputs, guys. It's like, okay, we'll no doubt be doing this many times. Now, this wasn't the only thing that I've done with this, so I just want to show you that before I choke on my coffee. So right now we are upscaling these images. Okay. Now, normally I'd be like, there's quite a few of them here, but there's nearly 1,000 of these. As you can see, we're only moving the slider a little bit. It's not a small slider though. But yeah, let's go preview and just have a little look-see, shall we? So these are the sorts of images that I could never get diffusion to pull off because the palette was never right and it didn't have anything to latch onto. So I think we've actually unlocked quite an interesting little technique here. Yeah, sure, it might be a little bit crazy and hard to tame, but this is my model training, being given lots of things to hook into. It's supposed to be like, you know, trash and ruins. Look at that. How I could never prompt for something like this. And then to get the character defined in there as well is crazy. And it's because it's image to image with the woman in front of the art grid and then pose of the same pose, right? And you put all that together, and then you end up with totally insane promo shots, I guess you could use these for. Now remember, I'm face swapping these, so the faces are all a bit over. They're not bad. They're not bad, but they're not nailed. You know what I mean? They're actually pretty close, to be honest. That's actually, see, some are better than others, right? See how the variation? It's like, you know, when you do a mid journey and you get 4 images and they're all the same person, but actually when you look closer, it's like, oh, they all are slightly different. Actually, that's the sort of level you're at for the face swapping. But yeah, like I said, I've got more. Oh my god, when I think about it, right? This whole thing was to create key art for, you know, like a foundational model that could be used to illustrate this fantasy world that she's in, which is sort of like, you know, the future remnants. We're doing that, you know, we're doing that. Distant future, everything's all a bit broken. See, you wouldn't get any shots like that. But yeah, like I say, it's such a cool technique because it makes these epic ruins. Now remember, I'm prompting dystopian, post-apocalypse, ruins, right? It's in the prompt. It's not just coming out of nowhere. And also, a lot of the data that it's just it never had the opportunity to make more than a little hut or a building. It never had anything because the grid gives it the ability to like really latch on to stuff in the background. It's so funny, some of this stuff. And it's like totally fantastical. Some of the images that were coming around it, I was like, Joe Dabrowski is going to wake up and come again. Finish that June movie. But yeah, like I said, some of these are like absolutely fantastic. It's a fantastic dystopia. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Big old concrete structures. And like I said, I could go on for... like I said, we just left it running overnight, and it made ridiculous amounts of cool stuff to just check out. Like, I haven't even had a chance to look at it all yet. I bet there's some really good ones in here. Most of them are going to be just her walking and stuff, because I did use the original poses. For the next model, I actually used different poses with all of the other assets, because the beauty of the system I showed you is that you don't have to use... you can do stuff like this, where you have a prompt, the art generator, and then we can have a pose map coming in from a completely different setup. So here, DJZ Woman, this one in particular has, I don't know, a few hundred, like 4K photography, women posing, and it's like cooked down to just the open pose, and then it just loads that randomly with this node. You just put the folders, you put the poses in a folder, and then obviously because they're not all 16:9, they could be tall, they could be whatever, but they're always black background, aren't they? So if you run them through my Black Bars V3, which is just a black padding tool, right? What it's going to do is you pick the aspect ratio you actually want, 16:9, because that's what we're using for everything else, right? And then no matter what the aspect ratio of this was, it will be padded with black, which means that now it's 16:9. And sometimes that can actually give you a little bit more life out of your poses as well, because if you had a full pose, a full body pose in a square, and then you make it wide, now they're center in the screen, but still full body. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff you can do like that. Right, and obviously it goes through the size adjuster, and the same thing as the last time, right? Same thing as the last time. So this one is my depth prompt. Yes, but like I said, control prompt is the same. I could, instead of using this, I could just say, oh, I want to get my Zenkai depth. I want to get my Zenkai depth, and then I'm just going to literally shift click. There, done. That's all it took, really. Now I can use any... Oh wait, did I just take it out? What am I doing? I just did the wrong node. Hold on. Zenkai pose. I picked the wrong one, guys. My bad. There we go. Same instructions, don't worry. I did it right, I just pulled the wrong node out for some reason. So yeah, like I said, so now what we've done is we've actually augmented the control prompt with a completely new pose set. Yeah? And if you watch the connections, one's going into this resize, which should go directly into the into there, and then yeah, and then there's the pose at the end. So let me just see what we got here, shall we? What do we got? A typical woman pose, please. It was a flying kick. Okay, that's number one. There you go, a typical woman pose, right? She's doing some ballet, wholesome. Now, I don't know if it's going to stay on that one, because obviously, you know, but I want to show you. Do you know what I mean? So, let's put it on 1, not 100. And we'll make 1. And while we're looking at this one, I'll show you the other thing. So, the other thing which I was trying to show you was that it has different modes. So, we have letter block mode, right? As you can see, just letters, right? For this one, dots. See, dots, and we just get dots, okay? And big block, right? This one has a big block in it, yeah. And this one has a big block, but these are crosses, not numbers. And so you can see here we're going from letters to dots to numbers to crosses. That's what we're doing. And then what I've done is I've put everything on the same seed. So as you make one, it's gonna, in fact, let's just make one, add it to the queue. It's gonna make this art grid, right? So we've got 4 of them. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna batch them as first frame, last frame, first frame, last frame, first frame, last frame, first frame, and first frame, yeah? So we've got a loop going on here. So it ends on the same frame that it begins, which creates an infinite loop. We're gonna use Rife. Why are we using Rife 47? Oh boy. This is going to be fun. Somehow I never bothered to change that, so we're going to get a little upgrade. And Q. Now the colors get set by a link here, and you can get them from my website, or you can get them from my GitHub, or you can get them from the GitHub for the project, yeah, or you can make your own. It actually comes with one out the box called Nice Palettes. And that was written by the original author of the JavaScript blog post from like 2018, who originally wrote the concept that we've, you know, overdeveloped into what it is now. I'm not going to change it, it's fine. Oh wait, I can do it in one go, so yes, I am going to change it. Okay. You don't have to use all these input parameters, I just find it easy to update them all at once when I need to. So yeah, we're going to do interpolation with 8 frames. So that's 8, 16, 32 frames, right? And then we're going to render that back at 30 frames. And that gives us this sort of liquefied morph animation, okay? Now obviously you can choose what each frame is, and it's up to you what you want the morph to be, but the point is you get this morphing thing going on. And then we run the whole thing through another Rife interpolation, again at Rife 49. This one does times 4, so remember, if this is 30 frames per second, we do times 4, we're now at 240 frames per second. So if I render it at 60, we still get high frame rate playback, but it also slows it down by 50%, so it's okay that it looks like a boiling pot of goop. We come to here. Now the intention is that you then audio reactive this to some music, and you make a whole bunch of them, so that you've got like a funny reactive background. Maybe you have people dancing in front of it. I don't know what you want to do, right? You can do anything you want. And here's an example of the palette shifting, which you could also do. Might be low res though. This is my gash palette, which is like, oh yeah, we put it through a LUT to see the impact of coming through a D-Log LUT at 0.3, and that makes it like super colorful, like the colors are really coming out of it. It's not just saturation, it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's clamping colors as well. which helps because it eliminates some of the grey which can appear. Anyway, so that's what we did. We made a bunch of video stuff, right? And this was all cool, but the real idea is generating the image to image input and then making this crazy composite which you then eventually actually put through the machine with the pre-trained LoRa. So those images that I'm putting through were images that this model was trained on. So it's kind of a little bit cannibalistic. Okay, that's interesting. Didn't expect it to do that. Well, it's a different pose, isn't it? It's trying to do a different... I don't know. I don't know if it really did that. Hang on. I need to see analysis. We're not using black bars. That's my fault. That's my fault. I forgot to use black bars. Right. Well, here we go. It's a good example. So Black Bars V1 just made Black Bars really fast and simply. Black Bars V2 did the same thing better, but it's crop. These are all crop based. So when it adds the black bars, it actually, you lose some pixels. And I was like, well, hang on a minute. We have to fight hard for our pixels, right? So I would rather have black pixels for free. So in other words, I have small video, I add black bars to the padding, and then it gets to my target and I don't lose any pixels. I think that's much better. So we went for that. It's also got use in out painting as well, if you're into that. But yeah, we're going to go with 16:9. I'm just going to do this, pass it through. And like I said, we can get, just for now, we can get 2 previews. I mean, I'm sure you know what I mean, but it's always nice to see it. So cue that up. Okay, so where are we right now? Yeah, we're cooking these, aren't we? Have we made them yet? Is that a new one? Lut. Oh, crap. Yeah, that's going to take ages. Kill it. These take a lot longer to do. Mostly because you've now got a long, high-res video. Do you know what I mean? I was actually thinking it might be better to do the LUT stuff like just on the frame. Do you know what I mean? Because it's much, much easier to just do a LUT correction before you go in. But I don't know, the process might mean you have to do it again anyway. Do you know what? Let's find out. This is super simple. It's a simple test. So yeah, if I just go like that, you know what I mean? It's one image, or God knows how many frames it is by the time you get to the end of it. You know. So even with no resolution change, it should be more efficient. You would think it would be more efficient. But like I said, the process itself might mean you don't get any gains. Okay. We're ready. And we're still doing that. Oh no, is this... I think this is one of those nodes where... I think this is one of those nodes where you can't stop it. Do you know what I mean? Like once he started, he doesn't stop. I don't know. Could it just be it's the next one? Do that. Kill the queue. Shame, because we had a bunch of stuff we were waiting for. Shame. Yeah, look, right. I'm occasionally impatient. That should be my sorcerer name. Johnson, the occasionally impatient. Okay. Where is it? You nonsense. This is the part where I like drag Comfy into some strange drive by accident. Cook the machine for good. Okay, so as I was saying, this is all animation stuff anyway, right? I think it's far more interesting to look at the image-to-image stuff. But anyway, now we've all caught up. Isn't that cool? Because I needed to catch you guys up on like what's happened since yesterday. So that was it. now I need to show you what I'm working on now, you know? Like obviously, did I show you the the new Electron tool yet? I don't think I did. Is it even an EXE yet? No. Right, okay, so what we'll do is we'll plug the recorder into my other machine and we'll build it, and I'll show you that trick. It's not really a trick, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's just another way of doing it, but it's like a batch file that tells the project. It is so stupid, because when I saw it I was like, so all you have to do is copy these files from there, and it's done. And it was like, yeah. So I was like, so all this build stuff you don't even need to do that? I guess it's like manual mode or something. I've never even heard of it, if I'm being completely honest. Someone with more experience can tell us. My comfy folder must be on the large side. Let's see if we can get a number on that for you. So the actual comfy folder is not even there anymore. It's now here. And God save whoever tries to. We'll see what happens when we try to count that. Okay, so we're back up and we've got Rye 49 picked. I just want to get one. I just want to get one in Rye 49 so I can see what this D-log as well. We're doing 2 tests at once now. Not great, but it's okay. We're still counting. I'll come back to you. Okay, so we've got palette, numbers to crosses, and then we've got palette, spots to numbers. That has a big block, this has a big block, those don't. So that means you end up with something that looks like that. So it's going colour, it's going symbol, 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 colour, colour, and then you also get the occasional large feature appearing, right? And that ends up looking something like that, which is not bad. I think that's kind of nice. And like I said, you could slow it down even further, but I would recommend making more frames proper, you know, adjust the process. I think that the color correction, actually, look at that. That is not vivid. It's kind of grayed out almost, you know, it's kind of pastelish, right? Faded. That's not faded. So yeah, color correction on the initial frame is beneficial. I still wonder if color correction on the end might be too, though, because obviously, you know, when you actually look at the morphing effect itself, clamping the shades could make the shapes more defined. Okay. That's so cool though. It just looks like a washing machine of like French art design. I don't even know. Love it. Especially from up here. Look at that. Far away. Crazy. Anyway, so this is ArtGrid V1. So what I want to do is take a look at ArtGrid V2. So there's only 180 gigabytes in there. That's not even that much. I'm probably missing a few folders here and there. God knows what's in there right now. God knows. I'll find out that one next. 30. There's 30 in this one. So there's 200,000 files. God knows what that actually is. Right. Let's see. So sideways. We looked at that one. We did the generation on this. It was beneficial to put the color correction before you start doing all the interpolation stuff. So I look at the morphing on these. don't know, is it better or worse? It's kind of hard to tell. It's nice that it loops. Right. So anyway, SVG Art Grid V2, please. Can everybody say hello to SVG Art Grid V2? I've already explained what it does over the course of what we've been talking about, but just to give you a better idea. So we have this image, which is one of our Thoras. It's an early Thora. She's got a weird face. It looks like that's a Mid-Journey original. Trying to find out is the way the lines are. Yeah, it looks like Mid-Journey. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to use this command, which is Python SVG. What the heck? Something's going weird here. Python SVG Art Grid V2, rows 16, columns 9. Now this, I think it always tries to... Anyway. Square size 64, which is something I was experimenting with. I'm going to go 128 this time. And then it's going to do image input mode composition. Nice. I didn't specify an output file name, so it's just going to overwrite this SVG right here. I'm going to open Illustrator real quick. So it saved the thing. So let's take a look at what it made. Now obviously if this works, my goal next is to adapt it into a comfy node, which will be fun. But I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, and I think Claude can do the business. So let's just quickly reveal in File Explorer, go up one, find the art grid, get back into Illustrator, and... Okay, can we zoom out? Full screen. There we go, right, okay. So I hope you can appreciate, we had the blue sky, we had rocks on each side, we had the blue sky behind the person, and she's wearing an orange outfit with an exposed belly, haha, and exposed legs. It's there. It did it. It actually did it. I can kind of see like a little sort of Minecraft-like figure, even though it's all weird and abstract. It's there. It worked. Actually worked really well, right? And I think it'll work even better in Comfy, to be honest, because at the moment there's a few things that are a little bit ropey with the Python implementation, yeah? Like size handling and stuff like that just isn't quite as good. But let's give it a different image, you know what I mean? When I was doing this, I didn't have access to any images, so let's just find a different image. It's probably just all the same thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's all it was for ages. That's been the big project has been this one. See. Surely there's another folder of something here I can use. I've like trained like a whole bunch of different models. Barman. All right. We got a person in a bar. That's not going to do that. That's not going to work. Well, you know, it is what it is. I don't make the rules. So we'll call this one beta. Alpha and beta. So we'll go up to here. We'll change this one to beta, and then we'll come back down here and we're going to say 16 and 9 just to turn it the other way around. It's probably not even that, but yep. And then we'll get ready with the Illustrator. It's done. It is done, he said. Get rid of this. Where's the thing gone? Every time. I probably closed it. I'm trying to get into the habit of just closing them when we're done, because otherwise you end up with like a billion windows and none of them actually go where you want to go. Okay, it tried. Do you know what I mean? It tried. I think it did a pretty good job of it. Man in the bar, he said. But anyway, like I say, I think that by increasing the number of rows, because right now we're using the rows and grids with a fixed tile size. That's how the Python script works. So the script that we're using right now, it doesn't work the same as the comfy one. The comfy one, it sets a maximum width and height and then divides into tiles and rows, which is completely different from setting tiles and rows and having a defined tile size. So, like I said, I think that if I can get this working in comfy, it'll be better. Also, I want to double the number of tiles, so at the moment you can only do like 20 by 20. I want to double that, because when you're working at 2048, it's possible to make nice defined tiles, but you can have twice as many. Again, it will match the color better. Do you know what I mean? And so then this effect is going to work really nice. Combined with the fact that you can filter out the different styles. I will say though, I'm still using the image for the palette. So that's one thing it's literally using, you can see, look, there's the beer bottles at the bottom that make those like bright reds. So it does work, but it's a little abstract because the tiles is massive right now. So yeah. So this has already been released. This works. It's fine. So my next move. This is quite fun. We're going to make a new window, and we're going to open the recent. Let's see. I want to open up my comfy UI. I hope this is the right one. Yep, SVG Suite. Good. Now I have a node called SVG ArtGrid, which we're going to keep open. ArtGrid logic.md. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So the thing is, it's like we went through all of this yesterday. We made the MD file to explain how it works, you know. But this is going to be like solving a riddle, right? So, okay, do we have a folder? Because I've got a couple of approaches we can use here. We can use WebClaude, which is actually a pretty good place to prototype, by the way. Do prototyping in WebClaude and then bring the skeleton of the code and a plan, or even better, working code that's basic, into here and then develop it out. That's a nice way to work. But I think I'm just going to take the plunge. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to open up a file here and then close the project. Going to take just the scripts. These two. See, what I'm going to be playing is a game of spot the difference. Okay, so he's already successfully built this into a node, right? So I'm going to take the successfully built node, right? And then I'm going to say, hey, you see this? Hey, you see this? But I can't put it in that folder. So what I'll do is I'll say dev, and I'll put the new one in there because yes, it'll get confusing, right? So if I say SVG ArtGrid V2, we're going to make one with an underscore after the SVG so it matches. Oh crap, I didn't do it with that one either. I should have put an underscore there, guys. Regret for my decisions. Okay, it's going to match. Let's just hope the fact that it's in a new path will be enough to save us. So what else is open up here? Nothing. ArtGrid Pi, ArtGrid V2 Pi. Perfect. We've also got the MD explaining what it does open, which is fine. I can leave that there. No, actually, just don't confuse things. So let's just make this a bit bigger. It's a bit claustrophobic view right here. Okay. So this is quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say standard affair. We can create a new custom node for comfy UI. Wow, that's... Sometimes I feel like it's autocorrect, but it's just me. We can create a new custom node for comfy UI named SVG art grid v2.py. This is going to be even stranger than usual, which will be based directly on SVG art grid v2. Okay. No, it won't. I screwed that up. Don't get ahead of yourself. Which would be based directly on SVG art grid v1, actually, right? However, this will follow the logic, mirror the logic, This will mirror the logic. I'm going to say, I'm thinking about shown, inside, contained within. Now we call out the SVG art v2. So we're playing a game of difference right now, you know? So I'm like, okay, context. It understands this. It knows what this means. We can create a new custom node for it knows. There's no way it doesn't. There's no way it's this good without not knowing. You see what I mean? Like reductive logic. Named that context. So it's good. My job right today, this is what my job today. Today, I'm going to build a custom node for comfy UI. It's going to be based directly on that one. So now I have a template to work from. This is going to increase your success rate by, 500%. And then obviously it's going to be different. Otherwise, what gives? Okay. So I'm going to say it's going to be based on dev SVG art grid. So do you know what? Having it in a folder called dev or plan is actually contextual. It lets the LLM know that this is actually like a placeholder, alpha, beta, whatever, right? It's not the production, yeah? It understands. If you put things in a folder called dev, it's like, oh yeah, I understand that these are actually not the main files, even if they have the same name. We'll still see him. He'll mess it up now to show me up in front of all my friends. Okay. So this will mirror the logic contained within dev art grid. Now I need to give him a little bit more specifics, because remember, we know what the new features are. It's got a palette composition mode menu, right? So, right. We can following parameters, okay, to the v2 node. Okay, so one of them is going to be, well, not obviously image file isn't a parameter, right? But we have a mode drop down list with the two options, palette, composition. Okay, so I want that, right? And then the blend factor, what was it? Parameter, oh, I don't need to say that, they're all parameters. The blend factor exposed as a float. I think it's a float. Yeah, as a float, default 0.7. Do you know what? I should probably say default to palette. Yeah. Default 0.7, so that's good. I don't think there are any other new lines. I think that is... Oh, color count. How many colors to extract? Of course. I said 5 and he's given me a parameter. What a nice guy. Isn't that thoughtful of our little AI sage coder? I didn't even ask for that and he gave them to me. Very cool. Color count exposed as an integer, baby. That's right. Default 5. So that's automatic, you know, the hex code sampling. All right, for the yeah. And obviously we could make more options for all of that stuff. That's a whole rabbit hole on its own, to be fair. So I think that's pretty much it. The only thing is, yeah, of course. All right, okay. We will need the image input, the width and height of the image, of the input image will determine the height and width. I mean, I don't even know. I'm gonna say that in a different way. For the image input, we can use the image. For the image input, we can use the image input. Go. That would actually work, but I want it to be more. I want it to be better than that. For the image input, we can use a standard comfy input. Yes. Which will set the width and height from the image dimensions. Okay, that's good enough for me. I tell you what, my coffee's getting cold. You know what that means? It's coffee time. No coffee for me. No coffee. Send help to PO Box scuffedepoch.com. Yeah, no coffee, guys. No coffee. We have a red alert. Red alert. Red alert, ladies and gentlemen. We've run out of coffee. Oh well. Looks like we'll have to just keep working. All right, we're back. That's what happens, guys. Basically, forgot to bring it to the office today. It's just too hot. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we've just made the art grid, blah 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 blah. We're going to say let's have a look and see what he said about it, shall we? So he's going to create a new node class. Yep, cool. Drop down menu, palette, composition options, blend factor, color count. Everything that I've asked for is right there. Dev version adds image input support. Right, okay, he's just telling me the difference there. I thought he'd gone rogue. It's like you come back and he's made a bunch of dev nodes that you don't even work. Give him a minute. Okay. Exactly. What are we going to do? Dragon Diffusion says, I'm an hour down the road or 35 minutes at the speed I could drive and deliver if you want. Nah, it's all good. I'll survive. But thank you for your concern, guys. I got loads of coffee at home. I probably drank too much today anyway. Let's drink some water. I actually love the stuff. So you know you're thirsty when the water tastes better than usual. Suspiciously better than usual. Said the man with chronic dehydration. Okay. These are all jokes, I'm fine. So, from here, we're obviously making a new node right now, yeah? But we were doing other things at the same time. So, this one didn't come out too good. I'm going to put it back. Oh, I know why. I know why it didn't work, because, guys, remember, on this version, I'm putting an image, and I'm putting a masked image on the top, which matched. You can't just change the... So it's a nice example of what you could do, but that's just the beginning of it, because obviously the image is now mismatched, which is worse, right? So obviously there's a lot of ways around that. You could put it into like a text to image mode that doesn't use an image, but then we're, you know, how are we going to do this? So I'm just going to put it back. I was just trying to give an example. It takes a bit, it does going to take more work than that to get that to work though. So yeah. I just tried to show like the principle of how I got there rather than, hey, look at this. Because I think that if you take the same path or a similar one, you'll probably find something else. So loads of people in our community have actually done it. Bear and Beer says, dude, are you an ML engineer in some company? Yes. But you've never heard of us because there's lots of engineers like me who are freelance contractors, but I also work in consultancy and education. So I'm kind of all over the place, you know. I've been working in AI and machine learning research since 2022. I was lucky to go full-time just before Midjourney came out. And it's been a wild ride the last 3 years, I'm going to be completely honest. But I'm doing this full-time. That's why I'm here every day, because I'm in the office and I'm doing things. But yeah, it's mostly like working for contracts and things. I do run my own company and I work with a lot of companies. Some of them you've definitely heard of because they're AI space. Others you've heard of because they're like brands, you know what I mean? But you know, what contractor hasn't? You know, if you are working, you will have done. Yeah. But the concept was to create everything on this channel with AI and be proud of it. That was the concept. So the music you're listening to, me and the avatar, everything was done either with AI or in Comfy or, you know, and also just go live, you know. I find often the mistakes are actually more interesting than the successes. It's easy to just show a highlight reel of what worked, but that doesn't speak to what didn't. And I think that that's part of the passion. Breaking it and then remaking it. But anyway, like I said, he's added SVG art grid to our thing here. So I think it's time to restart Comfy real quick and see if this custom node is actually good for the business. As you can see, check that out. So cool. Let me just read the prompt out for context because I know that I've not done that yet. No, where's the bleeding prompt? Oh my god, I don't believe it. I'm so lazy. I haven't even written the prompt out. I haven't even bothered. I'm just like, it's a prompt. Hang on. Show text. What we'll do is we'll do a little trick here, yeah? Because it'll always change, right? So what you want to do is you just want to download it. So download it. And then load it back in. Okay. And then, we were missing that one node that we need to read the prompt. Yeah. Show text or show any or anything like that. Drag it in. I'm going to put it over here with the final. There we go. Run it. So the prompt is depiction of hunter-style cave woman character Sharona. That's the trigger. Woman with short white hair, vibrant orange fur skin blouse with black accents and exposed torso, including matching fur skin wrapped oversized boots and gloves, standing in a lush, overgrown area with vibrant greenery and colourful flowers. The setting appears to be a post-apocalyptic or abandoned environment, so I actually do a bit of prompt swapping there and we can get much better outputs. I'll show you in a sec. With overgrown vegetation, remnants of structures in the background, the overall atmosphere is one of survival and resilience against nature's reclaiming power. Watercolor style graphic novel illustration, detailed ink line work. Now, that last bit is kind of just to solidify the style, yeah? And so what I would say is, now we've recreated this image, right? Let's show you what I mean by that, because it's sort of like, what the hell is he talking about? Prompt swap? Oh, and here's the thing. It was already in 16:9, so it didn't need to change. So that's, you know, it's not just going to mess it up, you know. If it's already right, it won't add anything. It's in intelligent nodes, right? Dynamic nodes. So yeah, what I want to do is I want to change that little bit. So here, look, I'll show you. There's a couple of things we can do. I made a whole bunch of nodes for this sort of thing. Prompt swap is the most common one. So I've got my prompt swap here, and I want to swap some words into some other words. So I don't like this post-apocalyptic tag. It's way too strong. So I'm going to put it's one thing. So I'm going to say post-apocalyptic, comma, space. Okay, and then the other thing is abandoned. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say abandoned. Right, there we go. So now I'm going to switch that up to prehistoric. No. Back, comma, space. So, okay, so we're going to change any instance of abandoned to prehistoric. So it's a prehistoric environment, not an abandoned environment. And then the post-apocalyptic, I'm going to change to Hyborian age, in quotes, which will work. Okay. And so if we now go back over here with that little prompt rule and just shove him here, no, not here, shove him here, we can take this into there and into there, and that should do it. That should do it. Wait. Something else was feeding out of there, so I need to probably the demo from the other end, which we were just looking at. So I had to just swap it. Prompt swap. Right. Now obviously not every prompt uses the same wording, so you know you have to account for that, and then you might need to make more prompt swap. But so we go for the next image, and what do we get here? Why are there two of them? Is that like the last prompt that was in there or something? What's going on here? Post-apocalyptic. Dystopian. Ah, damn it. Dystopian's still there. I need to add another rule. Okay. Dystopian. I'm going to make that into barbarian. It doesn't need to make sense. It's tags. Well, a lot of it is. But yeah, I love this. I love this sort of look. But I don't like this look. This is what you get from post-apocalypse. You get weird melting concrete. It's so funny that we're starting off with this. It brings me joy. Don't know why. Love it. So why is this being? It's suddenly like splitting. It's very strange. Text box. It's got an input. It's so weird. I'm just gonna do that and delete it. Actually, yeah. I think that's better. Ah, right, it was turning it into one of these. Now I understand. I understand now. I was like, what the hell's going on? It's because there's two, isn't there? You've got... Man, do you know what, right? You see this prompt here that's in a lot of my workflows? This just goes to show how long I've been using the... Because this is one of the first comfy prompts I ever made. It's like 2 years old at least. And it's from a Midjourney collection. And I put it into this, and then I've always driven it with something, so I've overridden it. But it's still there. It's still there in the code, even though you couldn't see it, and then they updated it so you can see what was in there beforehand, and it's still there. I don't know. I just wonder how many people have this prompt in their workflows, you know, after all this time. So how is it still in there? This is from like SDXL. I've got no idea, and I've reinstalled Comfy a bunch of times, but that is 100% an old Mid-Journey prompt. Look, Octane render, excessive amount of cables. This is my prompt. Hey, the images came out real nice, actually. Like chrome. So anyway, like I said, we get to the final result, and there she is. But that's not good enough. We need to test the V2. I can't believe the coffee machine's down. Bear and Beer says, cool man, I just went full-time ML in my company. They want me to fine-tune models. But I'm starting to feel like a competitive artist. Yeah, it's true, yeah. It's true. Comfy tools are actually, like, I would say they're becoming a new standard. Like, yeah, sure, at the moment it might look a bit clunky, but the power. When things work, you can't, like, ignore it. Like, sure, someone might come out with, like, a better way of doing the UI, or, you know, there might be like a new, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say it can't be beat, because nobody knows that, but they got a killer combination for show. Wait, am I supposed to be here? No, we're here. But yeah, I recommend it. It's a good career path, especially at the moment. We're still early. That's the irony about all of this. Okay, so are we actually swapping stuff now, or not yet? Okay, so let's run this to get it all loaded up and everything. If we're lucky, it'll just spring into action. Yeah. We got, I don't know, it's going pretty quick. Okay, so while it's doing all this nonsense, let's see if we can get SVG2. SVG Art Grid 2 is right here. Ooh. Right. SVG, boy. I think I might go for Scour first. No. Let's just go straight to preview and see what it's doing. Ah, there's mine. I was wondering where mine was. SVG string. Yeah, got like a, yeah. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason. Load image. Lad. No. Load image. And we're gonna open. No. This is kind of ironic to use that, but no. That's actually an output from the thingy. These are all art grids. Come on, man. Give me something that's not either Thora, Sharona. Hold up. Haha. Okay, right. So we use this guy. Ah, crap. What? Hang on. Cannot handle this data type 111664. Well, there's the 1664, right? So, but what's the other 11 for? Something tells me the input is being scuffed. So do I have something else which has got an image input in my custom nodes that I could use as an example to steer him? Not in here, I don't. Isn't that funny though? Because it actually works. It does work, so the script does actually work. I reckon if I go to DJ Zeet and the nodes and just have a little look, see. I know there's a couple in here which got image input. There's loads of them. What am I talking about? All of the effects are an image input. All of them are. Because I think that he's just scuffed the image input because I didn't word it very well. I was like, make an image input for the image input in the style of Comfy or some crap like that. Something dumb. It wasn't the best wording. That's why I was sat there rewriting it a couple hundred times. You can probably use any of the effects. They all take an image input. I'm just looking for like the most appropriate looking one. It's like it's got to be simple and also like easy for it to be like, I'm not doing any of that, you know. Yeah, let's use fisheye because I don't want to do anything to do with that. Save it. Okay, open up the thing, go into the path. It's actually quite nice how easy this is. I'm just going to chuck it in the dev folder. Go back here, and I'll say, I have provided an example of the correct image input formatting for a custom node in Comfy UI app. What was it called? Fisheye. Okay. We can mirror the logic from the input, the image input format method. Yes. Inside our new node, SVG ArtGrid V2, which is the one that we're making. Where is the one that we're making? Oh dear. That's not good. Where's untracked? Track it then, you sausage. In the file. Okay. SVG ArtGrid. So I'm just going to do it myself. Oh, it's capital letters, isn't it? Yeah. SVG ArtGrid V2. There. Fine. Got him. It just doesn't like to do it sometimes. Which is presenting with issues. Issues related to incorrect image formatting. And then I'll give it the bug as well for context. And then you can just be like, swivel mate, go and sort yourself out. Here it is. There you go. Mortar style? You want to launch coffee mortar style? What a waste. If you're able to launch it this far, it would have to go so fast the lid would surely come off. You'll need to modify tensor to pill. Okay, so let's see what he did. Expects the tensor shape. Yeah, we're using tensor permute. Fisheye shows a better approach. Instead of converting directly to pill, we should follow a pattern. Handle image tensor directly by using correct approach for Comfy tensors. Ensure we're working with data in the expected format. Yeah, it didn't do BHWC. It did. I don't even know what 120 is. Like on 166. No. So let's have another spin on this one. Anyone feel bad about drinking coffee? Man, I was looking forward to that. I went over there and I was like, ah, damn it, I had the last one earlier. God. Oh well, it's alright. It's late. I probably shouldn't be drinking coffee at 10 p.m. It's probably why I'm still vibe coding at 2 a.m. Oh yeah, speaking of which, let me actually show you the thing. Because like I say, you know, this is quite nice, okay? See, we have a really cool method now, which is like taking you from, cut the nonsense, let me just show you. So I think I was in the middle of showing you and then I had to like go and grab this. But yeah, so I showed you my tools website, which simulates the code, So we've got tool electron. And there's no build, yeah? So this is what I was talking about to you earlier. So, right. I'm gonna have to just switch screens real quick. So hold on to your butts and I'm gonna yank it. Like Back to the Future down there. Got to like connect the cables like it's about to strike midnight. Okay, here we go. Come on, wake up. I believe in you, laptop. It's alive. Okay. Jeez, no signal, they said. All right, give him a chance. He's still trying to warm up. Hey, don't look, everyone look away. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. Okay, so anyway, what we're painting right here is what I call a glitched out singularity. And I actually think that this is what it would look like if you came close enough to the center of the galaxy. But you'd definitely die. Oh well, it was fun, wasn't it? It's a fun little bit. We do this occasionally. Okay, let me get my mouse. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do some, where's my microphone? Turn me up in my headphone. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build this without building this. Should we try building it first, just to sort of demonstrate the problem here, yeah? So we're inside our project right now. Now if we go to our read install, we've done that. Run dev, we've done that. Let me show you. npm. Oh my god, it helps to type in the terminal though, yeah? Top tip. npm run pm run dev. So that's going to give me the dev mode. Now if I just turn that off for a minute, you can see this is the same tool that I was showing you on the web, maybe a little bit different styling and colors and stuff, but these actually work, right? It doesn't have all the tools because some of them require CUDA, and I'm not about to start making an application with CUDA support. I'm trying to target the CPU stuff. So I just added the Zenkai control prepare. I haven't tested that yet, and it might work. The rest of them work though. So bulk rename, removing the 0001s from the end of comfy output file names. Obviously you'd want that. Yeah, there's a specific reason for this. Caption collector, which turns a dataset into a prompt list. Caption root creator, which takes a folder of images and allows you to create caption files with a simple starting point, and then you append using a vision model to caption the rest. Real ESR GAN converter, so if you have a path model that you trained with my tool for training real ESR GAN models, you can go ahead and convert safe tensors. FF cropper, okay, again, it takes a file. You can give it 000001, you know, it'll crop with that format. Okay, I'll show you. See, video file name, put in the thing, and output.
and you can have an AI write the JSONs and just use them instead. It's exactly the same as the original tool. It just runs on your computer in an Electron GUI, and it's a portable, you know, it's a portable EXE. So what was interesting though is, check this out. So here's npm run, right? If we now go to npm build, so we want to do run build next, right? Run build win. Yeah, that's usually what people want, right? It's the whole point. Why would you be on Electron? You could have just made a website. It would have been so much easier. So we're going to run it and watch what now. I bet you it works now. Nope. Okay, same error. I'm glad. See, I thought it might have been like the internet failing to download the archive you need to sign, but no, it just failed. Did you see that, guys? I don't know. VS Code is notoriously small. The text is notorious. Let me see if I can just... I am on my laptop as well, so let's see. Where is it? View. I swear it was in view. Terminal? No. We did it last time. We found a zoom. And we were able to make all the text bigger. View? Appearance. Ahaha. There should be like a small... What's it? Zoom in is control plus equals. Okay. Okay, you can actually see stuff now, right? Okay, cool. So, a little bit too big though. So yeah, this is a problem that you'll have. It won't sign, okay? Symbolic link, you don't have privilege. Now, I think that if I just opened VS Code in Administrator, that might actually fix it too. But regardless, I found a way to do it, which was a little bit strange. But yeah, let me just drag it out of a different project, because I've used it in 2 projects now and it worked both times. So hey, maybe this is the time for it to fail. Icon Factory Electron. Build portable.bat. No, package app.bat. Why are there 2? Okay. Let's take them both. Let's take them both, and we'll look at both of them. Because it's pretty simple when you see it. You'll be like, oh, right, yeah, okay. I think, anyway. Of course, it helps if you actually do that. There you go. Right. So, package app is from the Media Progress Tracker, the portable app for that. Why don't I just show you that as well? That's a good point. Hang on. If I can actually show you that, you know. So here's all the different portables, right? This is the last version. We run it. As you can see, it's a TV show tracker, right? So it's got like a minimal mode that gets rid of the menu. You can add shows or comics, manga, books, you know, whatever. And then when they're on here, you can like go up in pages or go up in episodes, or oh, I'm on season 6 now. Bad times. But yeah, like, you know, and then and the idea is obviously you get a link as well. So if you read your favorite single piece anime on Google, then you can put a link there. And if they're all on different places, you know, for example, you might watch Game of Thrones on Bing. You might want to put different links in different things, and there it is. And then obviously when it's done, just delete. Also has a backup management in JSON, so you can, you know, have a complicated watch list and not worry about losing your page or episode number ever again. And like I said, this started off as like something simple, and it's been developed into Electron. And like I said, there's a standalone app. Source code's up. You can just go ahead and... I did open that GitHub up, didn't I? Timmy D. Right. Video segmentor. Repo. Electron. That one's not up yet. Show tracker is public. So is Icon Factory. I'm trying to do that in Electron as well. It does work, actually. It looks pretty much identical. But yeah, like I said, you know, take the code, forward the code. So I'm going to explain the vibe process of this in a minute, which is actually real simple. And I think I might have time to go through a completely fresh one in a minute. But let's just take a look at this final build part, because this is like, you know, you don't want to build it in dev and then not be able to distribute because of this. I don't know what this nonsense is. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. So let's have a look. So this is a portable package for media progress bar. Watch what it does. Can you see what it's doing there? It's copying all my files to the right places in the app. Manual. It's just copying them. Look. Just copy them. And it's going to start. Create the README. Use the existing distribution, look. So all the DLLs, the bins, the packs, the DATs. Oh yeah, you do actually need the pre-built Electron, that's obvious. But I mean like building your app. Yeah. But like I said, this is for media progress. So obviously what I did was I presented that to the other app and I said, oh, make me one of these for my current app. And so it did. Here's one for Icon Factory. You see what it did? It just transformed it. Right? So, you know, that's essentially what we're going to do for this one. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to say build portable. I'm going to say it's kind of funny actually when you think about it. Oh man, it's coming in like a drunk customer. So in another project I use this script to build my portable exe app for distribution, and then I'll say app build portable.bat. We can adapt this into a new script named, you know, build blag bloop, right? Build tools.bat, which will perform. No, wait a minute. Yeah. Which will perform the same function. I could say mirror the function. Yeah. Which will mirror the function, enabling the building of the portable. I feel like a news reporter sometimes with these prompts, man. Today there was a thing that happened, and a thing that happened on this day definitely happened, because the thing, you know, you're like, I've said it 4 or 5 times, so you're like reinforcing what you want it to do by basically saying it in 3 different ways. Kind of funny. So let me just see what he says here. Let me see this. Okay. So what should be the name of the application? Okay. So he needs some deets. Alright. Icon Factory 2. I notice your project structure has a different structure. While tools are there, how should we follow the structure in the current project? I can see how this is going to fall apart already. Do you know what we're doing right now, Claude? I think sometimes it's like he hasn't figured out what we're doing yet. Is there any specific handling needed? Should they be included? They should be included. Some of them aren't in the app yet. That's why he's confused. So it's fair. Do you know what I mean? He's like read it and gone, well, there's a bunch of scripts here, but some of them are just like redundant. They're dead. I mean, what are they there for? Do you need to keep the same approach for handling Electron distribution, checking for pre-built? Fiddle FNAF. Are there any particular files or directories that should be excluded? Do you know what? I'm just gonna tell him to figure it out. There is a slight problem here. It might be that no, I'm pretty sure I didn't ever build it before. It'd be interesting to see what happens anyway. Oh. That's okay. He was getting some stage fright. Oh. Okay, cool. He's built the batch file. Well done you, mate. I wonder if it works. What do you think? Predictions in the chat. Will it work? Could it be that we just run this batch file? And, you know, then it just works? What do you think? Let me know. Fingers crossed, says Fernicar. Let's go. Ah, we forgot to do that part. Nothing worked because... Wait. Right. So now we're going to have to make him... Okay, fine. Yeah, git. It's not going to work. Yeah, look, see, it fails for that reason. Do you know what? I'm going to try the other thing real quick, because then I had a suspicion that it was just I had to do something stupid like... I mean, how do you even... How do you even do that? Yes. Why do I... Seems kind of stupid. But it's fine. Let's see if it still gives me grief. Oh, look, it works now. Well, that's easier. Don't bother with my stupid batch file. Just do administrator. I find that hilarious. So, at no point did he say, are you running VS Code with administrator? I must admit, I didn't think about it. Stupid. That's awesome. It actually just worked. Okay, fine. I stand corrected. Okay. But the thing is, it did work, though. That's the funny thing. The distributions I've got currently weren't built like this. They were built like this. Like, the funniest thing about it is the LLM found a way to just do it without the build. It's just like, oh, I'll just make the EXE without the build tool. It's fine. We don't... Because I think what happened was the build tool kept failing. And I was like, why is the build tool failing, Claude? And he was like, we can code a manual workaround. I was like, okay. All right. Strap in. The roller coaster's about to go off-road. Good times. A frog in a swamp? I like that. I like that. My NPM foo is so bad I'm like a frog in a different swamp. I like it. That's great. Awesome. Oh, man. So anyway, yeah. So we've built it now. Isn't that cool? So great. Where is it? I'm not convinced. Distribution. Windows unpacked. Do I see an EXE? I do see an EXE. All right, let's run it. What? Okay. Win unpacked. An ffmpeg.dll. Okay, let's try ff cropper. So we're going to pick one of my videos. This video here is 8 seconds long. So we'll pick that. And we'll pick 00 for hours, 00 for minutes, 02 for the input timestamp, and then 000004. So 2 seconds to 4 seconds. I want a 2-second clip. I'm going to save it here as test 5. Can you tell I've already done this? And there's a JSON version if you have a JSON with this information that you're going to use over and over again, or you're generating them. Uh-oh. Can't find main module. So much for the build, hey? So this one's going back to the drawing board. Oh well. If you can't break it, if you're not breaking stuff, you're not learning anything. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, we'll find out why mysteriously when we go from dev to build, everything breaks. It's probably because it didn't include something. But yeah. So I'll look into that. Right, it's time to swap back. We're going back. Yes. That's what I like to see. Oh, wake the cat. I'm back. Okay. Yes, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on the main branch. Okay. So, this was busted. What happened to that? Okay. Don't touch that button. Right, so by studying the thing, I've done it, he says. Let's find out if he did it. So yeah, I don't think we're going to have enough time to show off the thing. But what I want to do is, while this is restarting, explain it. Because that's the best I can do. Right. So, multi-billion-dollar research software has been activated. So here we have it. The ultimate research tool from Microsoft. What we're going to do, just explain, right? So you start off I wonder if this will work. Not really. Too much effort? Probably too much effort. But we start off with a prompt. I'm going to show you the prompt. You can get it any time from the Discord. I got it pinned in the inside line. So if you go to the inside line and check the pins, you see there's a bunch of other pins, okay, but this one here, right? So it says write a single file HTML using Tailwind style CSS, chart.js, alpine.js, and font awesome, all via CDN only. Now the trick is actually via CDN only. That's actually the bit that's really impressive, because you can just grab things. You see, you can just grab. It's all done content network, distribution network, right? So you don't have to have all the icons and the fonts and everything else. It's already in this thing. It's like and this style is actually like compatible with things like dark mode and all that, rounded corners, all that cool card grid based HTML. It's like Web 2.0, Web 3.0, whatever you want to call it. It's there. It doesn't look like AI generated code is what I'm saying, right? It looks relatively modern. You can put like animations into it. I got a bunch of demos here. All of this stuff was made with it, you know? Let's see. Have I got radio? Oh. Is it radio-player? Oh, crap. Is it radio.html? Ah. I've forgotten the name of it. Hang on. Can we get it from the history? Jovian V2, that's the choose your own adventure. Swatches, this one as well was made with it, right? And it looks pretty basic, but when you open it up, you've got styles, you've got alarms, you've got time zones, you've got like a whole thing about what this is. It's like a whole info site again. Like I said, I don't like this theme. I want the dark theme. Whatever, right? But yeah, what was I trying to say there? Talking about the whole thing. It's just stupid. Here we go, right, we're back. Okay, so you have the prompt, right? So what I think you do next is you go for get a bit of electron in you. So prompt, we're actually going to start with a Python file, right?
So you have a Python script that works. We get a prompt to turn the Python script into this Tailwind CSS thing. You know, this prompt thing I just showed you. Tailwind, font awesome, blah, 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 right? So let's just call that tail. So we go into tail, yeah? But that's just the start. At that point, what I do is I start saying things like, I want this to be a modular framework, I want cards, I want a grid-based layout, I want this menu, I want dark mode, blah, blah, blah. You get all of that stuff done, and then you've got what I call a template, okay? For a modular type site, just imagine that actually is written there. Temple, it's a temple, okay? And then you build the electrons. So like the Python script for the concept of what you're doing, it already worked. And then you prompted it into Tailwind CSS HTML, and that already worked. And there's a reason for this. When you build the electron stuff, if you look in the source code, the way it does the UI, it is a website. Oh my God. Yeah, that's perfect. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If I go into the tools section and go into, there's got to be one here, TV show tracker, source code. Man, everything's so small on this screen. Can't really even make them bigger or nothing. So anyway, that's built. Where's the source? Show me the source. Okay, here we go. So you can see here, right, you've got all of the things, and there's an index. Well, actually, that's the original. Yeah. You've got the index HTML, right? So what I'm saying is, if you do a whole bunch of really cool, like Tailwind web dev, right, and you get like a really cool looking front end, when you go into Electron to make it into the web front end, a lot of that stuff gets kept. And so then you end up with like a cool GUI. That's what I'm saying. It was just like, it just ends up looking cool and stylized for free. You didn't have to really ask for it. Like, you can specify colors and preferences, but I just found you get a higher quality output. So again, I started off with single file HTML, CSS. Sometimes I'll supply a Python script, and then after here I'll say which is going to split up videos into segments by second length and then resize the sections into 640 by 480, for example, where I'm preparing segments for video vision, right? Because obviously I don't want to give him a 4K video. I'd rather give him, so one, you can't give a 4K movie to a Vision LLM because it's too big. His eyes are too small and his memory is too short. So what we do is we get the 4K video, break it into segments, and then resize the segments so that whatever information I get out of analyzing that segment has an ID which matches the full size video. So then when I come to crop out the good bits that I've identified, for example, it's cropping out with a timestamp that matches the high quality footage. So then you get the 4K, you get 4K cropping automation of highlights which have been identified through vision on the little video. So, you know, that's a good example of why you might need to do that. And obviously the script is doing that, right? So I take the script and prompt it. It's going to make me a really nice looking front end. Maybe I like do a couple more prompts, add some animations, you know, add theme options, put in cookies for dark mode. So that, remember, you can do all this sort of stuff, right? You don't need to do cookies for the app, but implementing all these different things. And then, like I said, you get to this part, you have, because what you have now is an HTML template to go into Electron, and then that's going to be the front end plus the back end of the Python script, whatever that was. And if you're lucky, now you've got a standalone Windows EXE that'll do all of that for you. And it's less buggering about, isn't it? You just open it up and use it, which is nice. I haven't bothered doing anything with CUDA yet, because I'll be honest, I've never built an application with CUDA, right? I've never done it, but I'm sure I will. It's like a matter of time, I guess. It's just annoying because obviously if you like, you know, what you're going to bundle that onto a non-CUDA enabled system and then they're going to wonder why it doesn't work. I just don't like the aggro usually. Do you know what I mean? That's what it usually is. So stop it. The heck? Oh yeah, I forgot. We actually did a bunch of stuff with the Empire as well with these grids. This is different levels of diffusion, look, different levels of denoise. So cool. Just suddenly, bing! And now you've got like sci-fi megastructures. Epic. Right, let's just get this out of the way. So SVG Art Grid V2. Is it still broken? Or do we have to fix it tomorrow? Where is it gone? It's here. Go. Ah, come on. Oh, wait. That's actually not my node. Okay, wait. I think that's probably broken too, isn't it? For a different reason. Huh? Cannot read properties of undefining reading. I've never seen that error before, have you? Let's get a different SVG preview because I feel like mine is broken. I'll use the normal 2SVG repo, 2SVG. It's a great repo. And we can get rid of that and that. Let's try it again. No, nothing. Are we still up? Really? I think it's knackered. What the hell? Still giving the same error? It's like, hey you, did you do anything? Gaslighting. I can smell it already, Dragon. What are you doing? Advanced preview. Cannot empty, open. Cannot. So no. Alright, let's just have a quick look at this node. That node doesn't even look right. Yeah, this node doesn't even look right. There's no drop-down list for the mode. Oh, wait. Sorry, my bad. There is. It's right there. So actually, the new stuff is there. Do you think it's because it needs to be 16 to 9? There's no width and thing in. Oh. Uh-oh. What the hell? Something's super broken. Look, I can't close the windows. I think I broke it. I think I broke him. Pime PDF. Okay. Fits open stream SVG string encode. Oh my god. All right. Well, let's just show you how I'm going to approach this because it says pill fallback. Interesting. So no, he's not happy, guys. He's not happy. The node is not happy. Not a good vibe. No. You're like, I don't even know what the hell are you talking about. Okay, so it says there's a problem. Generating an empty string. That's not a good idea. Cairo's not available. Using pill. We're not properly generating. Square size calculation might result in 0. Okay, well it's not. It's none of that. Yeah, check the fallback. Look at SVG, gen code, generate a valid string, even in the fallback case, or ensure we return no empty placeholder. Ooh, it's because I'm trying to do silly things with image, like image to art grid. Like I wasn't satisfied with just generating an art grid. I had to make it image to image somehow.
We're returning an empty string. When the output S... Wait a minute, am I an idiot? I think it's just... I'm an idiot. Why is that? Why does that even exist? Oh man. Yeah. So I didn't have the output SVG button enabled. That might help. Oh, okay, we're getting... Wait a minute, why is it different all of a sudden? This is not what I was doing a minute ago. Whatever, it just forgot, didn't it? It just forgot. SVG preview. Put it in there. Delete this one and this one. I just want to make sure it's not the node and it is actually the, you know... I just want to make sure what's breaking things. So I've got to break things over and over and over again multiple times. Once isn't enough. I have to break it. Wait a minute. It just... Right, so, okay, I see what's happening. Every time I restart... Okay, I got a better idea. Okay. Haha! Not so broken now, are you? So yeah, I was right. I had a suspicion in my gut. It wasn't broken. It was just the other crap I was connecting it to. So yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so now I need to try and actually match this aspect ratio, because right now it's just not. So obviously if I just go 9 and 16, it should be about, I think it's about 16 to 9. Oh, other way round, guys. There's me thinking that rows are rows. Okay, so now we have 16 rows, columns, and we have 9 columns, rows. Don't think about it. It's not my fault that it's sideways. It was built, the reason for this, by the way, is not an error. It was built vertically. It's built for vertical aspect ratio. So, so you have to do it the other way round. Whatever. Okay, so currently we're on palette mode, all right? Let's get a little comparison going on here. Let's get him under here, maybe, just so we can actually get a bit of a comparison. Okay. So right now we're using 16 to 9 seed, palette, mode. I'm going to put it on composition because that's what I'm here to show you. What? What just happened? Put the precision up. What? It's using, it can't, is it using, it is, isn't it? It's using, no, it can't be. It can't be using that color palette as well. I'm going to put the color count up. Wow. Okay, now, I think this one maxes out at, no it doesn't. Yes, I increased it. So, it needs to go up to 32. Damn it. I want 60, right, let's do 30 by 15. It's the best I can do. I can't go to 32 right now. I'd have to like edit the node and change the maximum value. It's a tiny thing, but it would just take longer. Look at this. Oh ho ho. So remember how good it was when it was like vaguely following? Because remember, I was thinking about this. We're making 3,000 grids. So the size of each grid is actually still huge. We could make them much smaller, right? And it's, yeah, 30 to 18, is it? Okay, thank you, mate. Oh. Oh. Sugoi. Look at this. It actually does kind of look like him. Let me just put it on, was it circles? Look, it's still here, look. Circle. That's why it's screwed up. It's not circles, it's circle. So if I say circle, it'll only be circles. Cyber Society, yeah. Oh, wow. Look, if we zoom out, you can actually see it, look. You can actually see the same image. Check that out. Check that out. Check that out. Man, I love this stuff, dude. It gets me going. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I don't care. Hang on, let me see. Let's try dots. Oh, look at that back here, yeah? I think dots actually is better. I think you could make out what it was when it was... High five, Claude. Exactly. Yeah, Claude nails it. Again. Crosses. I think it was crosses. It might be just cross. If it just is random, you see, if you mess it up, it won't break. It'll just fall back. Yeah, see, it fell back. But it kind of works better when it's like all over the place, doesn't it? Yeah, you can almost see the face. It's actually, the face is actually moved. So, wait, so if it's not called crosses, what's it called? Just cross. There's also quarter circle as well. Cross. Wow. Do you know what? So far, the dots has been the best one. Not dots, circle. Which is kind of strange. Like this, like whatever that is. Is it really the best? On retrospect, I don't know, maybe not. You can definitely see it's a dude in a beard with armor though. You can definitely see that. Which is insane. It'd be interesting to see when it goes into, you know what I mean, when we go into other things. Let's try something else. What about an orc reading a book? We'll have to turn it around. So 18 by 30. And remember, this node's already out. If you want to grab it, just git clone the repo and use the portable install with Comfy Portable. Whoa, you can see it. It is hard. Look, it's hard to make out. I'm not going to lie, okay? That is hard. There's a definite similarity, though. And I think that when you go into image to image, that's going to make all the difference. Because before... it was like the same pattern from top to bottom. And I thought about doing gradients, but then you've still got to pick the colour, haven't you? And so I think that if you do it this way... oh my god, this coat, you can't see. Don't know what that is. 3022. Try it. Yeah, true. It's a little bit wider, isn't it? Oh, we don't need big block either. You can see it, but it's like hard to make out. I love it. I think it's really cool. It originally, I think, had a color count of 5 as well, so we are going a bit crazy with the colors too. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, like I'm trying to say, it's an interesting little project, and I think that this, even though it looks completely useless, the fact that we have a lighter patch of things here and a darker patch of things here and all this sort of business, I think it will really enhance. I think it's really going to enhance the technique. So there's only one way to find out, and that is to swap it out and see. Oh, do you know what would be an interesting coup? Oh, I never even thought of that. Oh, but how do we know it's going to match? I've just realized that if I use the same image as well, do you know what I mean? Like if I use the same image, so I use the image, let's just get this one out of there for a minute. So we use the same image. We want to put that back around. So 16 to 9, 30 to 22 is probably about right. We'll find out, won't we? Composition, we've got an image going into it. The only thing I can think that will screw this up is the size adjuster. So I think what I'll do is I'll make another size adjuster just to be sure and go through another resize node, because remember it's like it's got to be all the same size, so I'm just trying to get ahead of that problem. So let me go in like this. I know it's a mess, because it's so weird that you have to, there's like a whole extra step here, you know what I mean? Like you've got to like, oh, get the image, do the thing, and then it's going to do it again there, I know, but will it be the same size? See, if this isn't the same size, it could potentially bugger a lot of things up. Let's try it. Like, if you're not careful, you can create infinite loops where you just get stuck, and it'll just be like, like it doesn't even run. You'll click run, and it won't even run. Whoa! What have I done? No, I don't think that was me. It's just a bug that I have at the moment. Things go invisible. But actually, shit, man, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted to see. That is exactly what I wanted to see from that image. Oh, man, it's put her back on top. Dude, give me this. I can't touch it. The UI's broken. Okay, the sorcery's too strong. It's broken comfy again, but it doesn't matter. If I had put this onto instant mode or a big batch number, it's just going to keep going until you refresh the page. So it's like it's like a runaway train. But yeah, so these are the face swaps that we were swapping, I think. So let me just, oh man, I've been busy, haven't I? There we go. Face art grids. Let's get all the way down the bottom. These are the upscales. But I want that one. What's that one saved as? Photo, art grid, overlay, comp. That's weird. I don't see any of those. Art grid. Overlay, comp. Here we go. Right. Okay. So before we were getting this, yeah? You see how it's always a solid wall? It's always a solid wall. You see what I mean? It's always the same. It's just a background, you know, like a pop background. You know what I mean? Got character, crazy background, right? That's what it was. But it was just color palette, straight. And I was thinking, oh, if you did a gradient from bottom to top, then it would eventually generate landscapes and, you know, perspective and things like that. But right now it's going to tend towards a wall, buildings, whatever, right? And so, if I get to the end, Christ, that's not it. Where is it? It must be in a different folder. I must have changed the project. Oh no, there it is. It just wasn't in the list. Excellent. Excellent. And look, you can't really see it, but that's a vegetated wall, blue sky, character preserved because of the masking. And then we send the open pose through. It will actually create an alternate, slightly alternate look. And the face is better as well, because we've fine-tuned the model a couple of times. So the output will come out better. But if I now go to the upscale and go to the bottom, image 884. What? Wait, what? What? It's gone full circle. It's gone all the way back round to where it started. Hang on a minute. Where's the original image? What the heck? What the heck? Hang on. I can't get to it. I can't get to it. Text to image. So 885. Yeah, that was the image before it. So that's the next image. Wait, what? Hey, look, you click the button and some of the nodes come back and some of the other nodes disappear. This is cool. It's like haunted comfy UI. Yeah, true. Depth map as well. Yeah, true. It'll give you like a grayscale. Look at this. Like when I move my mouse in and out, it moves something across the screen. Move it over to me. Yeah, it's so broken. If we look at the console, we can see that it is broken. Hey, good stuff. Right, well, with the success that it was and the success that it wasn't, we broke stuff, we fixed stuff, we found limitations, we got round them. I showed you all the stuff I've done in the last 24 hours. We took a look at some of the things other people are doing too. And that's the show. So, oh my god, look at this. Link is funky. Deleting. What the hell are you doing? I don't even know what Comfy's doing anymore. So, thank you very much for watching. It's been a blast. I'll be here tomorrow. Watch the pings to find out when we start the show. So anyway, until next time.
Jackson, my boy.